Hi, I'm Christian Westcoff and you're watching NRL Hunter UK, and we're here to talk about what you need to shoot an NRL Hunter match. NRL Hunter is a steel target competition series that is based on realistic hunting scenarios. You're going to need to shoot an NRL Hunter match some basic equipment, and we're going to cover that off in today's video. As this is a competition that is based on hunting scenarios, you can expect under time to have to find, range and engage your targets. We'll explain a little bit more about how stages are set up in a further video, but for now let's just focus on the equipment that you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need a rifle. If you're intending to shoot in our main competition, your rifle needs to meet a certain minimum power factor, and that is a combination of bullet weight and muzzle velocity. There are also limitations in terms of the maximum caliber and muzzle velocity for your rifle. If you're watching this on the day of release, give us 1 or 2 days, and if you head over to www.nrlhunter.co.uk, you'll be able to see all of the rules regarding the NRL Hunter series for the UK. They do differ ever so slightly from the more familiar competition, the parent competition over in America, but we've stayed very, very true and faithful to the fundamentals of the competition. So if I was shooting an NRL Hunter match, this would be my first choice of rifle. It is basically the rifle that I have used for a number of years now for deer stalking and also for shooting precision rifle competitions. Chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, with the right ammo, it does meet that minimum power factor limit that I talked about, and has a lot of different features that are suitable for shooting in very different situations and scenarios, which NRL Hunter will test you in. NRL Hunter wants to promote the ethical harvesting of live quarry, and therefore it wants to promote good marksmanship and being able to use equipment effectively and shoot from a number of different positions that you might find out in the field. And something like this rifle gives you the ability to do that, whether you're shooting prone, shooting off something, or shooting off traditional hunting sticks, or a tripod. Okay, so that's the rifle that you're going to need. We are running 2 parts to our series this year. There is one series that is running for centerfire, which this rifle would suffice, and then we're also running a rimfire series for 2025 that will be for bolt action 22LR rifles, and which you can see my B14 are here as well. So again, 2 good rifles for the competition. Now, the rifles that you select do have to meet certain weight limits. So if you're shooting in our factory division, then you're going to need a rifle that is under 12 pounds. Although this is a factory configured rifle, it doesn't meet that weight limit. Fully loaded, and that's how the measurement applies, with scope, mount, bipod, and your choice of whether you choose to shoot with a moderator, shoot suppressed, or instead you wish to shoot with some sort of muzzle brake or a tuner or something. You have to consider the total weight of the rifle when considering which division you fall into. So this rifle, although it is over 12 pounds, it is under 16 pounds at 14 pounds, and therefore would meet open heavy division requirements. Other divisions that we have include young guns and ladies. Now, let's say that you have a very traditional hunting style rifle with maybe a fixed powered scope. This competition will be shooting out to distances possibly up to 1,000 yards. Not all targets will be set at that distance. We'll typically have an average of around about 400 yards, But like I say, we're trying to test people's marksmanship skills here. So if you're shooting with a very traditional lightweight hunting rifle with maybe a fixed power scope on top, 8x fixed power scope, then maybe what you want to consider is going into our skills division, where it doesn't matter what weight of rifle you're shooting, what caliber, power factor, none of that matters. So long as you don't exceed the maximum caliber, the maximum velocity, then you can shoot with any rifle that you wish to in that division. And that's as a result of feedback that we've listened to since launching the series here in the UK, where a lot of deer stalkers in particular have said, we'd like to enter the competition and we would like to shoot competitively, but we just don't have the rifles to be able to enter into the main competition. So one of the concessions we've made in the rules is that skills division will be shot for points, and you can use any lightweight hunting style rifle of any caliber in that division, like I've already said. The other advantage of that is that, let's say you're a out-and-out competition shooter, you've never hunted before and you are using very, very heavy competition style rifles at the moment, such as this rifle that I have behind me here, which is well above the maximum weight for a rifle in the main NRL Hunter competition. If you want to come and shoot competitively with a rifle such as this, again, you can enter into our skills division, where you can shoot for points. The thing you need to understand, however, about our skills division is that it was implemented initially so that shooters who do not want to enter into the main competition and want to receive some form of coaching and support and direction while shooting have got a competition, or one side of the competition that they can join in on. If you're that shooter, we welcome you to come and join Skills Division, where you can receive coaching on the clock. However, those that were wanting to shoot competitively for points in that division, you do need to understand that some shooters may be getting coached as well. So just as long as you go into it with your eyes open, we shouldn't have any problems there. Okay, so I would recommend for a scope, if you want to shoot in the main competition, a variable power scope. Again, this is the scope that I use for deer hunting and that I've used very successfully in precision rifle competitions. It's got a magnification range of 4 to 28, 50 millimeter objective. It's in milliradians and does have dialable elevation and windage turrets. An ideal scope for this type of competition. But again, if you've got a fixed power scope, you want to come and try your luck, by all means enter. We more than welcome you into the competition. We want this to be as inclusive for everybody as possible. So that's the rifle, and we've talked about moderators and we've talked about muzzle brakes, or you can just leave the rifle without anything on the barrel. Let's say you've got a factory rifle you want to shoot in factory division and your barrel from the factory didn't come screw cut. You won't be able to screw cut that now and then enter it into the factory division in the competition. It has to remain how it came from the factory. So one of the main elements of this competition and how it differs from other precision rifle style competitions maybe is that you have to be able to find the targets. You're not going to be told where the targets are. You'll be given a general direction, and you're not going to be given ranges. So you'll have 4 minutes on the stage, and the first thing that you need to do is identify where your targets are. There could be anything between 1, 2 or 4 targets. If you've got a simple set of binoculars, these are a pair of 8x42 binoculars. These will do you absolutely fine for finding those targets. However, you're going to need a separate rangefinder device to be able to get range a distance to the target. Alternatively, you could use a set of range finding binoculars. These are a set of 10x42 binoculars with range finding ability built in, and also they can give you your ballistics solution. So once you've found your targets and you've ranged it, you need to make sure that you understand what your adjustments are going to be, so that you can make a first round impact on a target. First round impact carries 2 points. Second round impact carries 1 point. If you miss after that, you have to move on to the next target or the next position. You only get 2 attempts per target or per position. So what you may want is something to have your data written down on, easy reference. You could have something like an arm board. However you want to do that, you may have a way of tracking your data when you're out in the field. Quite often I'll hunt with a trigger cam, and I actually, for my 2-2, and I actually have my data written on the back of my trigger cam, so it's easily accessible actually on my rifle. So whatever you want to do, but ideally you're going to need some way of referencing your data once you've got your range, and then you can mark that down for when you're ready to shoot. So an arm board is something that is very popular in the States as a solution for that. Then you may also need to have some device for measuring the wind. You want to get 4 minutes on the stage, so you may be pushed for time to take a wind reading while you're actually on the stage. But in the holding area, while you're waiting to shoot, you would have an opportunity to start taking some wind readings, although the holding area will be away from the firing point, because all stages in NRL Hunter will be blind stages. When finding your targets and ranging them, you maybe want to consider stability. If you're the type of hunter that typically only hunts within about 150 yards, 100 yards, and you pretty much have a good understanding of what distance your quarry's at, we're now talking about much further distances than that. And it can be a little bit tricky if you haven't used a rangefinder a lot in the field to be able to steady a rangefinder if you're holding it free-handed. So you may want to consider a tripod with a bag on top, or clipping your binos into the tripod so that you can get a good stable position there. Or, which I often do when I'm out deer stalking or I'm on the rabbits, I'll just be using a set of quad sticks. And what I'll do when I'm scouting the area, scanning the area and ranging quarries, I'll just place them on top of my quad sticks, and then I've got a very, very stable position for doing what I need to do. So that's 2 solutions for just making sure that you've got some stability on the stage. You can see with my setup here, on the top of my tripod, I've got what's called a tack table, and I've got a wax flat bag already attached to that. So when I'm deploying my tripod on the stage, that's ready to go. Or if I wish to use the tripod as a rest for my rifle, that's again ready to go. A lot of other shooters will actually take a bag into a match. So this is a light fill bag that actually I do take out into the field when I'm hunting, just for the odd shot off a dry stone wall or off a gate or a fence or something. But you can also take a heavy sand or glass filled bag with you, and these can be put on top of the tripod if you want that stability for ranging or for shooting off. Or maybe on a stage there'll be a rock or a tree stump or a fence or something that you're required to shoot off, and a bag might be the best option for that shooting position. But how you choose to build a position at one of our matches is entirely up to you. What I would say is heavy bags usually give more stability than lighter bags, but there might be a fair bit more walking involved in one of our matches than what you'll typically find at a precision rifle match, if it's precision rifle matches that you're coming over to try NRL Hunter from. So you may decide that because you've got to carry all your gear on your back in a backpack, I'll be using my hunting backpack here. This is the bag I use for precision rifle when I'm at the range. But what you'll need to do is make sure that you're quite comfortable carrying all of your gear on your back for the day. And to that end, also you're going to need a sling or some way of clipping your rifle onto your person for carrying it. All our ranges will be cold ranges, and you need to make sure that muzzles are pointing up or down, just depending on the range safety brief. So again, you can take sticks or a tripod, or both if you're willing to carry that equipment into the competition with you. Whatever you use when you're out hunting, like I say, this is meant to be about hunting, realistic hunting scenarios. What I would say is you may find that the tripod is a little bit more flexible than the sticks, but if the sticks are what you're used to, they're certainly quicker to deploy than a tripod, and all your equipment needs to be deployed on the clock within that 4-minute limit, including bipods. You need to make sure that your bipod has the legs in the stored position when you go up to shoot the stage. You could carry your binoculars in your backpack, but that might mean that you waste some precious seconds to get them out of your backpack to get set up. So you may want to consider taking some sort of bino pack, bino harness. This is the pack that I use when I'm out hunting. I keep my various animal calls in here and hand sanitizer. I've got a little squirty bottle of powder just to check wind direction here, which will come in very, very handy at a hunter style match. And again, my binos are in here. So when I get up to the stage, backpack, bino harness on my front, tripod clipped onto my backpack, I can very quickly take my backpack off, get my tripod out, deploy it, and take my binos out of my harness, down onto the tripod, find the targets, get them ranged, write them down onto my arm board for my data, and then I've got all my equipment deployed then, ready to shoot. Match flow is very important. So something like a bino harness is great because you're not then leaving your binos or other equipment lying around. You can store everything back away as you go along, and then if you can't find a target once you've got down to shoot and you need to get your binos out, but you've left them over somewhere else when you were first got to the stage and you were ranging your targets. So again, good to have your binos handy just in case you need to have that ability to scan the area again to relocate your target. I talked about what needs to be weighed on your rifle. You can see here that this rifle, which actually is the setup that I'll have it in when I go out on the rabbits, but it is also set up for precision rifle matches, and you can see here that I've got a level, an electronic level on here. I've got a red dot. I've got a little dope card holder here. The fact that those are all aids to shooting mean that they come within the rifle weight. So you need to make sure if you're trying to shave off the ounces to meet a certain division's weight limit, that you take into consideration everything that is on the rifle that can aid you when shooting. However, if you wanted to run something like a trigger cam on the back of your scope, you can do that, and that won't be counted into the weight limit because it's not an aid to shooting. In fact, it probably hampers you a little bit in your shooting. So that wouldn't be included in that weight limit. Other things that you might want to consider taking with you, little set of fix-it sticks or something like that, just little tools that you need just to perform some maintenance on your rifle. Again, you might be some distance away from your car, and if you have a little problem, you may need to be able to fix that in the field rather than being able to return to the car, because you may then miss your opportunity to shoot a stage. And maybe think about the conditions. Do you need rain gear? Do you need warm gear? Do you need some hydration? Do you need some snacks while you're on the way? So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of gear. In the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what to expect at the match in terms of stage design, targetry, and so on. So again, stay tuned for that.